Hello guys, welcome to the ASPE mock exam. Just a quick apology for it being a little bit late. As I told most of you, I'm away on holiday and I've come here and there has been torrential thunderstorms, so the Wi-Fi electric's been off the lot, so it's been an absolute nightmare. But I will try and get all of these screencast exams to you by the very latest tomorrow, the end of Saturday. Okay, so I've managed to get one done now and I've got internet connection, so I'm just going to do the sociocultural one now. Now just quickly looking up, if you look at the obviously the exam success criteria, everything we come up to now, you're going to get a question. That question, your job should be to pause it. Now, from that pause point, your job is to see if you can work out the way you're going to remember what the answer is going to be. Okay, so that will be your memory method. That is kind of down at the bottom there. Moving on from that, your next point is going to be kind of can you translate it, and can you then put an example and extend. So I'll start it off now. So basically, first question then, explain the advantages, disadvantages of the London 2012 Olympics on society. Now again, you need to think which thing we're going to try and circle here. So you've got obviously London 2012 Olympic society. Pause now if ready. That's your memory method, and I'm not going to talk much, as you've probably heard enough of me on Tuesday. The answer from this would be okay. Next question. Explain the advantages, disadvantages of the London 2012 Olympics on sport. Remember, there are two succinct questions on this and you have to make sure you can differentiate. Memory method for this one. It could also be profile, depending on which one you want to use. I think this may be a little bit shorter and make a little bit more sense in terms of the fact it links directly to the concept of sport being a professional thing. So okay, next question. Identify the roles of the International Olympic Committee. Circle. Memory should be. Now I've kind of put how I think you should use the I on this, as I kind of explained the O the other day. So that's how I thought might work quite well. Okay, moving on. Identify the roles of Sport England. Memory method, 3 points to that, and there was a fourth one for those. If this game is up as part of a 10-mark question, obviously you would like to be able to talk about it a little bit more. Moving on to the answer. The bits in inverted commas, that really just shows you understand the background to it and you're not just, recall an exam revision notes. Next question. Explain the role of the English public schools on the development of sports and games, both in England and around the world. So this could be a 5-6 mark question. It could even be part of a 10-mark question. Memory method. Okay, so looking at that, if you didn't manage to do it on your own, answer. Okay, moving on to the next question then. Explain the traditional amateur approach to sport in the UK. So what was it about a traditional approach that made it different to what it is now, which is a professional approach? What are your key memory triggers? I'm going to put those on now. If you can't do that without that, the answer is coming up now. Okay, moving on. Move to a more professional approach to sport in the UK. So the last 20 years, what's changed? Okay, what has changed in your lifetime? You only know sport, really. All sports is professional. Memory method. answer. Oh, no answer there. Okay, I missed that one out. So yeah, if I go back to that one. Okay, so what sport is now run as a business? Okay, profit is key part of that. Why do people take part? Well, they now take part as part of the win ethic, where sporting excellence is the key focus. Where, well, it's now part of the golden triangle. Sport is at the head and linked to both sponsorship and media in order to be successful. If this was the 10-mark question, you would need to give examples of that. Now, how is sport organised as a professional entity? Well, it's organised, the organisation is extremely high. So you have funding, you have mass participation, organisation at the top level. If you're in the elite level, you're going to have specific bodies that are going to be linked to the top part of the performance pyramid, that will help both plan and organise elite sport. Explain the nature of sport in the USA. So hopefully you'll all be able to remember that there's a word in that that will link to a direct memory method, which is that. Answer. Okay, and move it on. Explain the roles of the English Institute of Sport and UK Sport. Your job is to make sure you do not mix these up. Okay, memory methods. So using those memory methods, if you've needed to use this slide, the next part, the answer will be. Remember, if this is part of a longer question, it's important that you give examples on top. Moving on. Explain the nature of sport in Australia. This question might also be worded. Explain Australia's preoccupation with sport. Explain Australia's obsession with sport. No memory method, but the answer is as follows, or potential answers. Okay, moving on. Next question. Explain the background of the modern Olympic Games. Your memory method. Who, where, influence times 4, and there's a little bit on the end which just shows that you understand how it is developed to what it is now. Answer. Okay, moving on. Explain the origins of Australian rules football. So we have a memory method for that. From that you should be able to get into a good little paragraph. The answer would be. Okay, moving on. Last bit. So explain the factors affecting the development of Australian rules football. What is it that made Australian rules football the game of the people? Now, I spent a long time thinking of this memory method. Please make sure you get the right thing in the right place. Memory method. Now that should translate into okay, so hopefully you've managed to pick that out. Obviously, the more you develop, the more you give examples. Can you provide a link sentence if it's a 10-mark question? They're the key indicators that will allow you to move on. Now, that pretty much is it for the screencast now. Like I said, I will try and get the anatomy and skill acquisition ones done tomorrow, weather dependent. So yeah, that's what I need you to do. Just a quick focus is to say I did try and make it very clear to you. You know, you've done the real hard work in terms of you've kind of done some preparation before you come to the session. You've also come to the session in which we only really got to do 2 parts. This is the key bit now. It's absolutely huge that you take some real pride in the fact that you have been do a revision session, you put extra work in than other students who are in other subjects. There's no one else in half term, no other subjects are doing it. This gives you a chance now. Use the screencast, keep practicing, keep making sure you pause in after the question. Can you make your own memory method? Can you remember it? And then try and have a go at answering it. But what I'm not going to accept, and I've got to be honest, is I'm not going to accept average 10-mark questions. Your 10-mark questions need to have good sentence kind of development. They must have examples. You have to have examples to get anywhere near 7, 8, 9 or 10 out of 10. Okay, so thanks very much for listening, and like I said, I'll try and get the next 2 to you tomorrow. Thank you.